All right, so get ready because today we are diving deep into something a little different.
Mm.
This piece on manifestation that you sent us,
hmm
it's definitely causing a stir in the self-help world.
It is. It's really taken off.
And yeah, this piece doesn't hold back at all.
No, it doesn't.
It's all about chosen ones and manifesting anything you want in 7 days and joining the elite 1%.
Yeah,
It's like this really potent mix of spirituality and self-help strategies with align your vibration kind of sprinkled all over.
right.
Have you come across this kind of language before in your work?
I have. It's
Now,
definitely a common thread in a lot of self-improvement content. The interesting thing is how it blends this almost mystical language
yeah.
with very concrete desires for wealth and success and this rapid kind of transformation.
Yeah. It's like a crash course in cosmic ordering and a side of get rich quick.
Exactly.
But even if we're not fully on board with this whole chosen one thing, is there something we can actually learn from it? What are the hidden gems here?
Well, one of the recurring themes is the power of belief. This piece really emphasizes that aligning your vibration with your desires is key to manifesting them.
Okay.
It even says that you need to believe in the abundance you want to attract, even if your current situation is saying something different.
So it's not just about wishing for things, but really believing you can achieve them. Isn't that just positive thinking, though? What's the actual impact?
It's definitely more nuanced than just thinking happy thoughts. The piece is tapping into this concept psychologists call self-efficacy,
Okay.
which is the belief in your own ability to reach a goal.
Right.
And research shows that self-efficacy is a huge predictor of success. Think about it. If you believe you can manage your finances well,
Mm-hmm.
even if you're starting with limited resources, you're more likely to make good decisions and keep going when things get tough.
Yeah.
That belief can actually influence your actions and your outcomes.
So even if we're not talking about literal vibrations, aligning your mindset with your goals can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm starting to see how this connects to the whole attract abundance idea.
Yeah.
But what about the shadow work thing? The piece talks about confronting those parts of ourselves that we hide from others, those bits of fear and insecurity.
Right.
Honestly, it sounds kind of intimidating. What does shadow work actually involve?
The term shadow work comes from Carl Jung,
Okay.
and it refers to the process of acknowledging and integrating those less desirable aspects of our personality.
Hmm.
It's not about pretending to be perfect, but about understanding and accepting all parts of ourselves, even the ones we'd rather keep hidden.
So it's less about being sunshine and rainbows all the time and more about being real with ourselves, warts and all.
Exactly. We all have these shadow aspects,
Yeah.
whether it's jealousy, anger, insecurity, or even just procrastination.
Right.
The idea is that by pushing these feelings down, we don't actually make them disappear.
Okay.
They can actually fester and influence our behavior negatively.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But this piece takes shadow work a step further.
It does.
It gives specific examples of these shadow aspects, like a fear of failure or a desperate need for approval.
Mhm.
And it suggests that by confronting those specific fears, we can actually reprogram our subconscious minds to align with our desires. Is that even possible? How much control do we have over our subconscious?
That's a great question. And it leads us into the world of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and adapt throughout our lives.
Okay.
This piece is suggesting that we can rewrite our subconscious programming, those deeply ingrained beliefs and patterns that might be holding us back. And while it's not like flipping a switch,
Right.
there are techniques that can help us shift those subconscious patterns over time.
Okay.
The source mentions replacing negative thoughts with positive ones. Have you ever tried that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've dabbled in affirmations and positive self-talk.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels a bit forced, but other times it's surprisingly effective.
It's like anything, consistency is key.
Mm.
The more you practice those positive thoughts, the more you're actually rewiring your brain. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is a good example of this.
Okay.
It helps people identify and challenge those negative thought loops and then replace them with more helpful ones.
So it's not about erasing the past, but
Mhm.
about learning to respond differently to those old triggers.
Exactly. And the source even suggests some more advanced techniques,
Oh, wow.
like neurolinguistic programming or NLP,
Okay.
which focuses on how our language patterns actually influence our thoughts and behaviors.
Hmm.
It can get pretty complex, but the core idea is that by understanding how our minds work, we can reprogram ourselves for success.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how much of our reality is shaped by our subconscious programming.
Mm-hmm.
This piece really plays up the idea of becoming a conscious creator, taking control of our thoughts and beliefs to manifest the life we want. It's all very empowering, but I have to admit some of it sounds a little too good to be true.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's interesting how this source uses language to create this sense of urgency and exclusivity. Like you're either one of the chosen ones who gets it,
Right.
or you're stuck in the mundane reality of the 99% stuff. It's a very powerful marketing tactic.
Totally. It plays on that desire to feel special, to be part of the in crowd. And when you combine that with the promise of manifesting anything you want in just 7 days, it's no wonder this kind of content is so popular.
Exactly. It taps into that deep yearning for quick fixes and instant gratification.
Yeah.
But sustainable change, whether it's personal growth, financial success, or even spiritual enlightenment, takes time and effort. There's no magic bullet.
Right. It's
Yeah.
about showing up consistently and doing the work, even when we don't see results immediately.
Right.
And this piece also talks about the importance of meditation for aligning your vibration. I've tried meditation, but I'm not sure I'm doing it right. Sometimes I feel relaxed, and sometimes I just end up thinking about my to-do list. What's your take on meditation and its role in all of this?
What I find fascinating is that while the source frames meditation in this very specific way, aligning your vibrations with the cosmos, the benefits of mindfulness practices like meditation are well documented by science. So even if we leave aside the whole cosmic vibration thing, there's still value in taking time to quiet the mind.
So even if we leave aside the whole cosmic vibration thing, there's still value in taking time to quiet the mind.
Absolutely. Studies show that meditation can help reduce stress, improve focus, and increase self-awareness.
Go.
It can also help us regulate our emotions, which is incredibly helpful when dealing with those shadow aspects we talked about earlier.
It's like taking a mental time out to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment.
Exactly. And that kind of self-awareness can be transformative. Now, whether those benefits directly translate into the kind of manifestation this source is talking about is debatable.
Oh.
But what's clear is that meditation can have a huge impact on our mental and emotional well-being.
Okay, so meditation, good for the mind and spirit, even if you're not trying to bend the universe to your will. Got it. But this piece really emphasizes the link between manifestation and fulfilling your soul's purpose. That's where things get a little fuzzy for me. How do we even define soul's purpose? It all feels very abstract.
I understand your skepticism. The concept of a soul's purpose can be overwhelming.
Right.
It's like, if I already knew my purpose, I wouldn't be here trying to manifest it. But if we strip away some of the mystical language, what we're really talking about is finding meaning and purpose in life, something philosophers have been debating for centuries.
So it's less about a predetermined destiny and more about actively searching for what gives our lives meaning.
Precisely. And that ties back to what this source says about aligning your actions with your values.
Okay.
If you're living authentically in a way that resonates with your core beliefs, you're more likely to feel fulfilled and attract experiences that support that sense of purpose.
So it's not about manifesting specific things, but about creating a life that reflects who you truly are.
Exactly. And that can have a powerful impact on what you attract into your life. If you're passionate about your work, you're more likely to excel and attract opportunities. If you're kind and compassionate, you're more likely to build strong relationships. It's not magic, it's just aligning your actions with your values.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But there's one more thing I want to unpack. This piece repeatedly mentions this idea that there's a 1% who figured out the secret to manifestation, while the rest of us are left struggling. What are your thoughts on that?
It's an interesting tactic, isn't it? Creating this hierarchy, almost a spiritual caste system, where you've got the enlightened chosen ones at the top,
Right.
and everyone else scrambling to catch up.
Totally. Like, I'm more spiritually evolved because I manifested a parking spot faster. It seems a bit counterproductive, don't you think?
Absolutely. It creates separation and judgment, which goes against the core principles of many spiritual traditions.
Yeah.
In reality, everyone's journey is unique.
Right.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach to personal growth or spirituality.
Right. What works for one person might not work for another, and what works for you at one stage of your life might not be relevant later on.
Exactly. I think it's important to celebrate those differences, to embrace the diversity of human experience.
Yeah.
We're all on our own paths, and each path is valid and worthy of respect.
It's about recognizing that we all have the potential for growth and transformation, regardless of where we are on our journey.
Absolutely. And ultimately, that's a much more empowering message than the idea of a chosen few hoarding all the secrets.
It is. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this section. We talked about the power of belief, the importance of facing our shadows, and the role of meditation. We also discussed the idea of aligning with our soul's purpose and the importance of recognizing that everyone's journey is unique.
And we explored the language of urgency and exclusivity that's often used in this type of content, and how it's crucial to approach these claims with a critical and discerning mind. We really dissected this piece from multiple angles, and I think we've gained some valuable insights along the way.
We definitely have. So before we move on to the final part of this deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm curious, what stands out to you the most from all of this? What's the biggest takeaway for you so far?
For me, it's the interplay between belief and action.
Okay.
The source emphasizes aligning your vibration with your desires,
Right.
but it also talks about taking concrete steps toward your goals. You can't just wish for things. You have
Yeah.
to actually put in the work.
So it's a two-pronged approach, believing in yourself and then taking action to make those beliefs a reality.
Exactly. And that's incredibly powerful.
Hmm.
It's recognizing that we have the power to shape our reality,
Hmm.
but it needs both a mindset shift and a willingness to take action.
It's like they say, the universe rewards action. But this source takes it even further. It almost suggests that if your actions aren't aligned with your beliefs, you're blocking your own manifestation.
That's interesting. And it makes you wonder, what does it actually mean to align your actions with your beliefs?
Right.
It's one thing to say you believe in abundance, but do your actions reflect that belief? Are you making choices that support your financial goals, for example?
Right. You can't just meditate your way to $1 million.
Exactly.
You have to actually create opportunities, manage your finances wisely, and take risks. It's about putting those beliefs into practice.
I agree. And that's something we can all apply to our lives,
Mm-hmm.
whether we believe in manifestation or not. If you want something, believe it's possible, and then take steps to make it happen.
So we've covered so much in this deep dive. We talked about the power of belief, the importance of self-awareness and mindfulness practices like meditation.
Yeah.
We also discussed aligning with our soul's purpose and recognizing that everyone's journey is unique.
We explored how this source uses language to create a sense of urgency and exclusivity, and how important it is to be critical and discerning when we hear those claims. We really dug into this piece from all angles, and I think we found some valuable insights.
We definitely have. So to wrap things up, what are the most actionable takeaways for you? What can you actually do with this information?
That's a good question. I think the biggest one is that even if we're not buying into the more mystical side of manifestation, there are still practical principles we can use in our lives. Like the source talks a lot about aligning your vibration with your desires.
Yeah.
We can translate that into something more concrete, like choosing to focus on empowering thoughts and beliefs.
So instead of getting stuck in negative self-talk,
Right.
we can actively try to focus on what we want and what we're capable of.
Exactly. It's not about pretending the negative doesn't exist, but intentionally choosing to nurture the positive. It's like working out a muscle. The more you practice those positive thoughts, the stronger those neural pathways get.
It's about switching from I can't to I can.
Exactly. Another key takeaway is the importance of self-awareness and facing our challenges head-on, that whole shadow work idea.
Right.
The language might be a little dramatic, but the core concept is valuable. Acknowledging and integrating the less desirable parts of ourselves is important for personal growth.
It's about being honest with ourselves about our strengths and weaknesses and working towards becoming more whole and integrated.
Exactly. And it's not about aiming for perfection, but embracing our imperfections and learning from our mistakes.
It's about letting ourselves be human. And one last thing that really stood out was the emphasis on mindfulness practices like meditation.
Even if we're not convinced about aligning our vibrations with the universe,
Yeah.
meditation can still be really good for our mental and emotional well-being.
Absolutely. Meditation can help us lower stress, improve focus, and become more self-aware.
Yeah.
All super valuable tools for handling life's challenges and going after our goals.
It's like pressing pause on the craziness of life
Mm-hmm.
to reconnect with ourselves and our inner wisdom.
Exactly. So even though this piece might be a bit over the top at times,
Right.
it does have some good insights that we can all use in our lives, whether or not we believe in manifestation.
I agree. It's about taking what speaks to us and leaving the rest behind.
Well, I think we've thoroughly unpacked this manifestation piece. Any final thoughts for our listeners before we wrap up? Something to ponder, perhaps?
You know, this source might be extreme, but it does bring up an interesting question. If you could manifest anything, what would it be? And what can you do right now to start moving toward that goal? It's a good reminder that while we might not control everything in life, we can shape our reality through our beliefs, actions, and choices.
That's a great note to end on. It's an invitation to dream big, believe in yourself, and take action towards the life you want. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful.
And who knows, maybe you'll manifest something amazing along the way.